Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of the Vigor Warriors 2 Club and the 1% Club. I know there's two clubs there, but that's okay. Hope you guys are having a great day. It is the 20th of December, 2021, and I'll get a chance to... I wish you guys a Merry Christmas pretty soon in several of these, but Merry Christmas early, and hope you guys are doing well, staying on your purpose, and I'm hoping this channel is helping a lot, so please go ahead and let me know that by subscribing, by commenting, by any kind of donations that you feel that your heart wants to give. I'm accepting of all those, and I appreciate all those a great deal. It's a blessing to me to be able to do this after all these years, to continue to kind of think in terms of trying to give out information to other people. And I got some nice quotes. We'll talk about comments from Carew Incorporated, and a shout out to Carew Incorporated, and thank you very much. And she made some great comments, and we'll kind of focus on those in a couple minutes. But I appreciate getting some more female and women viewers, and I appreciate that a great deal. This channel is for all people, and I want to kind of show that, demonstrate that, and things that we do and talk about. I think that the key thing, as I told a few people in the comments, is that we need to have both masculine and feminine energy. Neither one is better than another. And I think this is something that we run into. Now, I know that I had a comment from a viewer talking about, a relationship that she was having that was a bad relationship. And I'm sorry to hear those type of things. And I've had those myself in the past. The key, guys, is to realize that you're going to have evil and good in this world. And that evil may take the form in lots of different things. That evil may be a male, it may be a female, it may be a lot of different things you're looking at. It doesn't necessarily mean that all people are like that, and I think we have to be careful of that. I'll put my thing around here. We have to be careful of that, but we also have to kind of understand that people have inherent good. And I think that's the thing to bring out, that people are not bad necessarily, but they have evil inside of them. And that's the kind of way that I look at things. No matter what people's viewpoints are, things like that, I think we have to love each other, each person. But I also think we have to recognize the evil that some people have inside of them at certain points. And I think we have potentially some of both. And we have to make sure that we're really kind of working on making the positive, the good, better than evil. And the evil needs to kind of go away within us, and so that we have so much good that the evil is not going to come out. Do we all do things sometimes that we shouldn't be doing? Of course. We all commit sins, right? So because we all commit sins, we have some of that inside of us. But we have to recognize that. We have to continue to do well. So for those who are in bad relationships, I am sorry you're in bad relationships. I've been there before. I understand what you're saying. You have to try to make the best, especially if you're married. In my opinion, make the best of the situation and do the best to try to understand. And as Carew Incorporated said, that married 18 years, and I think she's talking about trying to match the energy level and trying to kind of connect energy-wise with her partner, and the same thing with listening to that person. All those type of things are very true. Very wise comments from Carew Incorporated, and so I thank you. I thank her for those, and also from other female viewers recently as well. I think that it's important to recognize that where we are is not the place we're going to end up. And as long as you're moving in the right direction, and as long as you're doing things that are positive for yourself and for other people, and you're a giving person to other people, things will turn out well, and I think you'll be blessed as you move along. And so as we look at what Carew was saying, Carew Incorporated was saying, it's crucial to understand that we have to try to connect with our partner's energy. Now, I know we hear a lot of stories out there, and people want to normalize that males should have more feminine qualities and females should have more masculine qualities. I think there obviously is a balance in life, the things that we have, but there's a reason why the Creator developed masculine qualities in men and feminine qualities in females. Both need each other. If you talk to men, they'll say to you, well, we need women. I need women to have more feminine qualities. And if you talk to women over the years, I've had lots of them in my classes and talked to them over the years. They're looking for males that have some more masculine qualities, and males who understand, what it is to take leadership and take care of their families and take care of their wives and those type of things. And so that's why I think that a lot of times people can take words in the Bible, take words of different things, and move them around differently so they can kind of serve their purpose for what they really want to say. And so a lot of times they want to normalize things. And, the Bible will not allow that to happen. The Bible's been around for thousands of years. And, look at that and say, okay, this is what the way it should be. The way it should be is we need to look at the ideas that are there. And if you go back to the ideas that are talked about in the Bible, which are very, like I said, many years old, when you talk about things that happen, those things of human nature are still going on today in the present day. Human nature doesn't change. The technology, what we drive, what houses we have, all those things may change. But the idea, guys, is that human nature doesn't change. Even though you may want to sugarcoat it with all kinds of other stuff around you, the basic idea is that people are still the same. So getting back to what Carew Incorporated was saying, we need to understand that our male partner or a female partner has that type of energy that we need to connect with. And when you're connecting with that energy, all of a sudden the relationship looks a lot different. But that means you need to take an interest in that person and understand the type of energy that they have. Now, this is not the easiest thing to do in the world. We're taught in our society to be very absorbed, self-centered, everything around us. Back when I was growing up, it was the me generation, and that's about the same thing it's been now for many, many years, is people looking at themselves more than anything else. And we have a country that's become more takers than givers. And then when you do that, the society tends to move in a very downward cycle. And this is what's happened in the history that we've seen, when people are more interested in their own pleasurable behaviors and pleasure for themselves and not sacrificing things like that. Well, in the society, it's just a matter before it crumbles. You look at the Roman Empire, you look at any of the empires you want to look at, and they kind of destroyed themselves from within long before they were able to be taken over. And that's because they lost those values, those lascivious, they gathered those lascivious behaviors and deviant behaviors because they only thought about themselves. Internal pleasure was more important than the sacrifice. And so as you look at this type of situation here, it's important to know that we have to sacrifice. You're going to sacrifice things at times, either from a money standpoint, or you're going to sacrifice things that you want to do, or your ego, or things like that, or saying something to somebody. And those things are all the case because you're trying to, here again, sacrifice to make a whole. And sometimes you have to sacrifice, males, to help your wife out, your girlfriend out, and it should be the opposite as well. And so when I use that word submitting, I know that people want to have a negative connotation on it, but I think submitting, obviously goes both ways. But in the case of the male needs to love their wife, and the male needs to love love the people they're around, and the female obviously needs to do the same thing. But I think they also expect that masculine person to be in charge. And if they're not in charge, well, then they'll look for another male or somebody that has that quality. And that's why I think this is very important when it comes to listening to if your wife listening to your husband. Because I think if you show that level of respect, and guys, when it comes down to it, I know there's been many studies done on this, and I'm kind of talking to a lot of the wives and women in the audience. appreciation is very important for a male. And that's one of the things that males will do anything for the women in their lives, the females in their lives, if the female shows appreciation. If you are appreciative of the efforts that the male is making, whether it's to bring income in, to do things around the house, whatever it might be, all of a sudden that male gets re-energized, rejuvenated, because the male knows someone is appreciating them. And I think that's a lot of times what the male wants. And a lot of times the female, they want attention and they want appreciation as well. And a lot of times those things can go both ways if you're showing it to other people. If you show it both in turn, then you're good. The trouble with a lot of times that we see, my friends, is that, especially in relationships, is that people start taking each other for granted. And this is something we have to pay close attention to. We cannot take each other for granted, because then all of a sudden you start looking at the negative flaws of people instead of the positive flaws. And you never want to do that. You never want to look at the negative types of things of your partner, especially in public. And I know people who tend to embarrass their partners in public, and that's a very bad thing to do. But even in private, if you focus so much on the things they're not doing, and you don't appreciate the good things, well, then all of a sudden you're going to lose a lot of those good things, and then you'll be alone. Because what ends up happening is people tend to leave those relationships one way or the other. And you never want to get a situation where you're looking at a situation and saying, okay, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this anymore, because people are nagging too much. Whether it's the male nagging, the female nagging, you have too much of that going on, and people start saying, no, I don't want to do this. I'm not in this kind of relationship just to be corrected all the time or nagged. And those are the things you have to be careful of, because that destroys a relationship faster than anything else. Now, you may think, well, you're doing good, for your partner, but you're not. If you're respecting your partner, there's a way to say things, and there's a way not to say things. And a lot of times we tend to take the wrong approach and get people more upset than help. And so I think Carew Incorporated, you make a very, very good point. And what we need to do is kind of focus on getting back to paying attention, listening, but it's also to showing appreciation, respect. The one thing that men need is appreciation, and that's important. All right, until next time, guys, I hope this helps. Carew Incorporated, thanks again. A shout out to you, and I'll talk to you next time. Battle line, guys.